Welcome and thank you for joining us for Coffee with Hillary and Les, brought to you by State of Mind Hypnosis and Training Center, located in the heart of the Kawartha Lakes. This is our almost daily community podcast about the mind and how you might change it in the most simple and helpful ways. Every day we sit, staring at the lake and sipping our coffee, having a chat about hypnosis and how to make those meaningful adjustments to our state of mind. Because nothing is more important than your state of mind.
Is it recording?
It's recording. We're on the line. That was a perfect intro. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I got a fresh coffee. Nice, fresh and hot.
Fresh and hot coffee.
You know what that means?
Nope.
I'm going to drink it while you talk.
Oh, okay. Don't burn yourself. So we're talking about today, we're sort of branching off what we spoke about last time, about how what we do is not who we are, you know? And so
I do know.
I do know. I do. And so we're talking today about what I think is not who I am. So we're kind of looking at that topic. Comes up a lot in hypnosis for people.
Yeah, it creates people to be afraid of their own thoughts.
Yeah.
And they judge themselves. I think that's the magic of both of these ideas, is that judgment, well, quite simply, you can't love and judge something at the same time. You can't love somebody and judge them. When you really love somebody, you notice how you don't really judge them, how you're very forgiving and you're very allowing, and you let people just be, right? Even though they're bugging you, even though they do things that sometimes really aggravate you. The truth is that you see through that, and it's easy to forgive, and the love is always there. And when you're judging yourself, you're not loving yourself. And if you're not loving yourself, then you're not experiencing, the freedom to create and to be and to discover maybe who you really are. So whether it's what you do or what you think, the automatic reaction people have is to judge themselves. I've done something wrong. I'm thinking something bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we get into the world of something that I've now stolen from you, is this idea of, up until the point we start making changes in our life and feeling more in control of our thoughts, we are just a bundle of suggestions that have been accepted.
Wow. If you could see yourself that way, right? Like to me, when I look at myself that way and I say, all these things that I believe so strongly were just suggested to me by somebody. I mean, there's not very much that I know or I could even claim to know, because most of it was told to me by somebody else. Most of it, even when it wasn't told to me and it came to me through a book, which makes me think, oh, well, that means it's got to be right. I read it on the internet. That's got to be true, yeah. Right? All of this stuff that is in our minds came from somebody else, came from someplace else, right? And even just recognizing that most of my worldview is just a bunch of suggestions that came to me through people I loved and people I trusted, and I just accepted them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it starts from the moment you open your eyes, right?
Yep.
The just molding of the mind. And then you think these things for so long that you start to think that it's who you are. You haven't really delved into who you could be, or, who am I?
Well, and more importantly, it becomes part of your identity, and then you cling to it. You hang on to it. I think of the poor people who come in to see us and just say, I am a smoker. It's what I do. Mm-hmm. I love to smoke, right? And then they think that.
Yeah.
I am, they're critical of themselves. And you say, well, I'm short-tempered, Mm-hmm. I'm scared a lot. All these I am statements.
Yeah.
These are just things going on in their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find it interesting, and I'm learning this over the last year, about how those I am statements work both ways, right? So we can think, I am strong, I am confident, and we feel how that works, right? We start to feel those emotions, and over time feel better and better. But we don't often think about how those little sayings of I am a smoker, or I am, what was the other one?
Afraid.
I am afraid, I am unorganized, all the I ams, about how they impact us on a daily basis. Yeah,
thoughts are powerful, but like anything, they're habits. And everybody's heard all those people quoting statistics, right? These are things we think that somebody told us, and we just accept that they're true. That we think the same things over and over, and we know it to be true because we examine our own thoughts and say, yeah, I do that. I find myself in loops. I find myself in repetitive thoughts, every day. I bet most people, when they walk into work, whatever the work is, they have a whole system of thinking that takes place in that first 10 minutes.
Yeah, just walking through the doors of work instigates a process of thinking. It's
Programmed.
Yeah, you're programmed. I mean, I say to people, I think we often forget that we're really just animals, animals, right? And, not calling us dogs or anything, but we're no different than a dog salivating at the sound of a bell, right? For food.
We're Pavlov's people.
Right? So, we develop habits, and over time, they just happen unconsciously as we move through life.
And it's really easy to take those habits and put them through a lens that suggests that that's what I am, that's who I am, that's what I have to do, that's just what I do. And I don't mind, people trying to accept themselves. It's just what I do. But accept it as in forgive it. Don't accept it as in unchangeable, because it's not unchangeable. It's very changeable.
Yeah.
When I realized that, it really starkly changed everything. When I decided I'm not going to think this. I remember I was in my mid-30s, and I was just going through a whole lot of painful changes. And I remember saying to myself, I'm not going to think about this. This is not doing me any good to think about this. And then it was, well, what do you think about? Right?
Yeah.
But when you realize that just because a thought comes into your mind, you don't have to spend any time on it, that's incredibly empowering.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember kind of going through the same thing, and I still try to do it where I just say, next, in my mind, next, or nope, nope, or next. And it's interesting, I noticed something online. I don't know where it came from, but I noticed it the other day. There's something going around on the reels where you are encouraged to think, and then think the thought, what am I going to think next? What am I going to think next, and see what happens? What is my next thought? And see what happens. And people are finding that their mind just sort of lets go.
And of course you can prompt thoughts, right? Like that, like what am I going to think next? Or you can prompt thoughts and just ask yourself, what am I grateful for? What am I lucky to have in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I lucky to have in my life?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want? What do I really want to create in my life? These are prompts, these are open statements that your mind will respond to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was, not to, it just reminds me so much, and not to talk about myself again, but I think it's helpful sometimes. So when I was way down in anxiety and depression at rock bottom, Les had me fill out a piece of paper, a cue card of who loves me, what am I grateful for, who do I love, that kind of stuff. And man, oh man, and I stuck it on the fridge, and it really, really helped me climb up. Even for a minute, that's all I needed, right? Even for a day, a few hours, right?
If you went through that exercise, if anybody went through the exercise of just making a list of who I love and who loves me, and it's going to be longer than you think it is.
Yes.
And you've got to be open to the idea that you are loved, because whether you think so or not, there are a long list of people who are very, very happy that you're part of you are part of their lives and they are part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
They really, really care. And then you think about all the little things that you're grateful for. I don't know who made them. I've heard the stories, but I'm so grateful for cheesies.
So is Tyke.
Tyke loves cheesies.
Yeah.
It can be that kind of simple, but it can also be a lot more, a lot bigger. I'm grateful for my chair, that old beat up, dirty dog hair filled chair that I like to sit in and makes me feel safe. I'm really grateful for our clients, the people who come forward and say, I want to change my life and I think you can help me, and I feel blessed to be able to help. Mm-hmm. I know you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can just spiral from there, and all of a sudden I've got a long list of things that I'm grateful for. And every one of them is something that you could choose to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, if I was to say to somebody listening, because, we're talking about what I think is not who I am, but how do you put that into action, right? How do you start to look at that and see yourself maybe as different, or notice a belief system that you maybe don't want to have anymore, or a thought pattern that you want to change. I held a Monday mindfulness seminar the other day, and it was amazing, just seeing how people noticed. Oh, I hadn't thought that I was thinking that. I hadn't thought that I was thinking that, it's just so programmed that you don't notice it until you start calling it out and going, well, wait a minute, where did that come from? Yeah. Those limiting beliefs, those fears, who we think it's us because we think it so often, even subconsciously, unconsciously, And
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. That's the idea, that we think these things so repeatedly that we get convinced of their truth, and then it becomes part of what we think we believe, and then our beliefs really trap us in limitations. Right? Yeah. Like, to me, the only answer is to believe in everything. I believe in everything. You name it, I believe in it. Yeah. I think it's just the safest way to be. I believe in everything. I don't know what I believe about everything.
Yeah.
And not everything I want to bother to think about.
Yeah.
But I can believe a simple truth, which is, I don't have to think this.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the refrain for the day, to remember that I don't have to think this. Mm-hmm. This thought doesn't have to stay. This thought is not who I am, and I choose to think something different.
Yeah. I liken this idea, I liken it to song lyrics, right? So we listen to a song. Oftentimes we listen to a song, we really like it, we listen to it over and over and over again. And then we get the lyrics stuck in our head, and, sometimes we go to bed and it's going around in our mind. Well, these thought patterns, they're no different than song lyrics, but the difference is when we have a song lyric going around in our head, we don't start to think of ourselves as what they're saying in the song, right? We have that distinction of, well, no, it's just a clip going around in my mind. And when you think of it like that, and then you think of these thoughts that go around and round in your mind that you think you are or who you are, just think of them like song lyrics, and you just, what do you do when you get a song lyric stuck in your head? You yell at it, get out, right? You don't allow it unless you really like it for a bit, right? You don't usually allow it.
Whether it's, I am not what I do, I am not what I think. I think the magic is in asking, well, then who am I? I am the one who does things. I am the one who thinks things. And therefore, I am the one who chooses what I do and what I think. I mean, that most of the stuff that we regret are the things we've done without thinking. They just sort of came flying out of our subconscious mind. And afterwards, we're like, oh, why did I do that? And it's the same thing with what we think. Sometimes these thoughts just seem to arise. We're not sure where. And we say, no, I am the one who is thinking this, and I choose not to think this. I choose to think something different.
Yeah.
It's that simple step above. I'm not what I do. I'm not what I think. As soon as you step above, I am the one that does. I'm the one that thinks. You take back control.
Yeah.
You take back the opportunity to choose something different.
Yeah. And then, moving forward in life, like I think we mentioned in a podcast recently, just trying your best to live consciously, right? Consciously instead of unconsciously every moment. And the more you do that, the better you become at it. Right?
There are things that are worth being unconscious about. There's a lot of value in thinking about your day while you're brushing your teeth, because you really don't need to think about brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
There are times when habits are really, really useful. And there are times when habits are really, really unhelpful. And they need to be, you need to just rise above them and say, I don't have to do this. This is not me. I don't have to say this. This is not me. I don't have to think this. This is not me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that means we're done.
Yeah, so I think, I think it's something to chew on, right? I think it's an interesting concept to start chewing on and implementing even just a little bit.
Play with it.
Life. Yeah.
See what you can come up with. Would love to hear from you. If you're using these ideas, feel free to reach out to us by email, or you can certainly find us on places like Instagram and Facebook and any place that you can locate us. We would love to hear from you. If you find this helpful, because that's our goal, just be helpful. If you find this helpful and you know somebody that it might help, please pass it along. Now you're the one that's helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, we'll see you later.
See you later. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast and that maybe it helped even a little. If you have any questions, we would love you to send them along in an email to info@somhypnosis.com. Thank you for being part of the State of Mind community, and And for more information about hypnosis and the various online or in-person services we provide, please visit our website, www.somhypnosis.com. While you are there, why don't you book a free 1-hour journey meeting with Hilary or Les to learn more about what hypnosis is and how you might use it to make your life what you want it to be. Bye for now. Talk to you tomorrow.